Hello, my beautiful friends. This is Marna here to do a reading on the energies of Saturn going into retrograde. For just a brief moment, Saturn entered into Aquarius after spending far too long in Capricorn, and now it's going right back into Capricorn again. So, what you can expect from these energies are Papa's home. This is the energies. You're being asked to look back on the events that have been going on since late 2017, November, December 2017. What lessons have you learned in that time period? What lessons did you refuse to learn? That one's going to be the most important part as we're going through the retrograde. Things that you refused to learn or to pick up when Saturn went through all of this the first time around, well, it's getting hammered home now. You might as well accept that it's time to learn a few things and move on with life from that in that way. So, let's see what the energies are as Saturn is going into retrograde. What do we need to learn from this Saturn retrograde period? This retrograde will last through the remainder of 2020. And then in 2021, we'll be having Saturn in Aquarius for the next 2.5 years. Saturn will not be back in Capricorn for another 28 years, which is fine by me. Capricorn is Saturn's home planet, so it tends to hit those of us with Capricorn in our signs a little on the hard side. Anyone who knows me knows that since 2017, my life has completely changed in ways that were not at all predicted. What are the energies of Saturn retrograde? What are the energies of the Saturn retrograde? One more card, please. One more card for the energies of the Saturn retrograde. There we go. Goodness. As I said, Daddy's coming home again. We're starting off with being told that this is a time for grounding and balancing ourselves. This is a time for us to be, good grief, you guys. This is a time for grounding and balancing. This is a time for finding the areas of yourself that you have not worked on and smoothing them over. We are going to be facing some choices, particularly as we're looking at the lessons that we've been refusing to learn. This is the crunch time, kids. Are you going to pass the final or not? On the good side, this is also opening us up to entirely new possibilities coming into our lives. We need to be discerning. We need to plan for the future as we're going through this. But overall, this energy is very positive in the long run. Part of what has been holding us back in our development has been looking too much at the things that we perceive as lost. We have been spending way too much time in the, oh, but I shoulda, I coulda, I woulda, if only things had gone differently. And I know I've been as guilty of this as anyone else. So those of you who know me, you don't need to throw stones. I'm well aware of the irony. Being in this energy of looking back at things past has kept us from moving forward. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving of the knights for a reason. He is so busy looking at what is behind him that he is not moving forward like he should be. And that lack of forward motion is what is keeping him from celebrating life that is meant to be. It is keeping him stuck in hangman energy. Well, kids, guess what? That cycle's over. It is time to get out of that stuck energy. It is time to stop looking back at what was. It is time to start moving forward. Again, this is a choice that all of us are facing, whether or not we are learning this lesson of letting go of the past or not. Clarify 2 Pentacles, please. There we go. Oh, my cards are being talky tonight. So, as we are in this Two of Pentacles energy, we need to be aware of this ship in the background. That ship is going to sail with or without you. It is your choice as to whether or not you're going to be on it and seeing where it is going to take you, or if you're going to stay mired in what has been. Your spirit is crying out for new adventure, new passion, finding and chasing down that which appeals to you. But your ego self is screaming, no, we can't leave the safety of what we know. We can't leave the safety of our nice warm beds. What if we are left out in the cold dealing with the after effect of that? And that is a very natural response to have to being offered at the challenge of something new. That challenge is coming in swiftly, though. Do not expect that you will have long for making this decision. You need to grow up and decide what it is that you want out of life. Remember, you get out of life what you put into it. Life is all about reciprocity. If you are not putting in, you will not get anything in return. You can sit there and complain about it all you want, but that's not going to change the way the universe works. Clarify Page of Cups, please. There we go. Sorry, that was my dog coughing. Moving forward into a new avenue of life is going to open you up to all sorts of new opportunities. I'm sure many of you have heard me tell the story of the wishing fish that always comes up when I see the Page of Cups. I'm going to tell it again anyway. So you had a guy who was out fishing and he caught a fish, and the fish looked at him and said, I can talk, don't eat me. And the fisherman was so surprised he let the fish go. And he went home and told his wife about it, and his wife said, you idiot, you had a talking fish. It could grant wishes. So the fisherman goes back to the edge of the sea and he calls the fish to him. And the fish says, yeah, what you want? The fisherman says, well, I let you go. Can you make sure that I have a better place to live? The fish says, go home, it's done. Guy goes home, the roof doesn't leak anymore, the floor has nice clean rushes on it instead of just being dirt, and his wife is looking at him going, you idiot. You could have wished to be king. Fisherman says, oh, okay. Goes back to the shore, calls up the fish again. Fish says, yeah, what do you want? Fisherman says, I want to be king. Fish says, okay, it's done. Guy goes back to his house, it's now a palace, and his wife is the queen, and he goes in there and she looks at him and she says, you idiot, you could have been emperor. So the fisherman goes back to the shore, he calls the fish to him. The fish is like, what is it this time? Fisherman says, well, my wife wants me to be emperor. Fish says, okay, enough's enough. Put an end to this, go back to your hovel. Fisherman goes back home and everything is as it was before he ever caught the fish. So what is the lesson of the wishing fish in this? What is the lesson that we are learning from this Page of Cups? Part of it is learning where to be happy in what you have. There is always room for improvement. There should always be room for improvement. And as you are working on improving yourself, make sure you take time to savor the stages that you go through. This is all a growth process. Not everything is ready for harvest at the same time, and some ideas may never be ready for harvest at all. That's okay. The important part is the process of nurturing the growth. When you do that, then you learn the methods of advancement that actually work well for you and that are not going to be too much, too fast, too soon, and leave you with less than nothing. Clarify Seven of Swords, please. Clarify Seven of Swords. Now, Seven of Swords can be read one of two ways. It could be the card of theft, deception, lies, etc. And I often read it that way. But it's also the card of planning. It is the card of preparing for the time ahead of times. You see, the guy on the card does not necessarily have to be the thief. He could just as easily be the blacksmith, getting his swords together to take to market. Clarify this, please. Which Seven of Swords are we reading? Is this the card of plan, prepare, strategize, or is this the card of being lied to? Thank you. Goodness, we are getting all the twos, aren't we? I do believe that does make all of them, actually. All the minors. We've got Pentacles, Rods, Cups. Haven't seen the Two of Swords yet. But yes, just as this is a card of duality, we are being faced with a duality of choices. The choices that we are making through this Saturn retrograde is, are we going to go for the easy life where we lie to people to get to what we want? Or are we going to go for the life of, yes, we worked hard for it and we planned for it and we are prepared for what is coming up? Oh my. Wow. Okay. I did say these cards were getting talky, didn't I? This is just too many, guys. Let's see if we can narrow this down a little bit. Do you have anything else to tell me about the Seven of Swords or Two of Wands? Clarify. Seven of Swords, Two of Wands. We are faced with a fork in the road. It is up to us which path we are going to travel. And those decisions are going to affect us all the way until Saturn returns to Capricorn in 28 years. Which pathway do you want to be walking for the next 3 decades? Do you want to be walking the pathway where you are constantly moving from opportunity to opportunity as you are found out for being a fraud and chased away? Or do you want to be walking the pathway where you are building a firm foundation for yourself, your family, your loved ones? Well, I guess that answers that. Four of Pentacles is the card of holding on to what is important to you. Guarding your heart, guarding your wealth, guarding what it is that matters most in your life. And who are you guarding it from? The Questing Knight. The dreamer of dreams, the bearer of huge ideals, and absolutely no way of making that anything come to fruition. So as we're moving forward with this retrograde, we need to remember that there are going to be people who come into our lives with huge ideas. And they are going to sound so, so good and so, so tempting. But the wise thing to do as we are facing all of this is to look at it with a discerning eye. Decide what is too good to be true and what is worth investing in, and seeing which we can grow. Doing so is what leads us to inner love and inner happiness with ourselves. Clarify Two of Cups, please. Because once you're reaching that point within yourself, then is when you really start to open up to the love of the world around you. Clarify Two of Cups, please. It is in reaching that point of self-fulfillment that we can graduate up from being in the state of, I need to have an object of my affection, I need to have something that I love, to being in a state of embodying love itself. Love with discernment, love with discretion, love with direction, love of all that is still responsible enough to make sure that all of its obligations are being met, and that all you care for are provided for. Looks like the Saturn retrograde is teaching a lot of lessons as we come through 2020, as if we weren't dealing with enough as it is. Are there any other words of wisdom that need to be given out as we're dealing with the Saturn retrograde? Any other words of wisdom for Saturn retrograde? There we go. All right. As we are going through this is going to be a difficult time. It's a time of growth, and growth is always a challenge. Meet the obstacles in front of you with love, but also meet them with mature love. Do not be taken in by every new scheme that comes along. Practice a discerning eye and determine for yourself what is in your cup. Is it poison or is it something wonderful? By moving forward with discernment, you're going to be creating generational wealth in your line. Wealth for yourself, wealth for your family, wealth for your friends, as you choose to see it. Now, what this wealth is may be financial, or it may be a wealth of other things, a wealth of love, a wealth of appreciation, a wealth of the things that truly matter to people. No matter what, if you navigate these energies correctly, you will boss up. This is a point in time where if you learn the lessons and implement them in your life, you will move forward to the next level. Congratulations, you have leveled up Scott Pilgrim. Now then, that is the reading for the Saturn retrograde. I am so happy that this is a good reading and not the, doom and gloom stuff that I've been getting lately. And I wish you all a wonderful night.